four slide presentation, then we'll open it up for questions.
Good evening. Go through this quickly so you can move on to the rest of the things on your agenda as quick as we can, but we just wanted to bring something to you that we thought was a good model that we can move forward with on the taxis and the on-demand system at the airport. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on where we've been, and this goes back many, many years. I know Mayor Liccardo has been involved with, unfortunately, many of these events that have gone on with the issues, but it's something that we've gone on, and we've worked very hard with both the industry and the companies to try to make things work at the airport and the on-demand system. Back in September 2005, we established the current model that we have in place, which creates a management company that manages the dispatch of on-demand services, mainly taxis and some door-to-door shuttles. In January of 2001, Taxi San Jose, who has been that management company since 2005, their contract expired. And we had decided prior to that expiration that we should go out for a new RFP, assuming, of course, and knowing that our business will be coming back to the airport. We decided that the RFP was very important to do and to try to get a company that could increase the technology usage as well as virtual staging so that we could produce the ability for vehicles to move quickly through the airport and not have to stage here as long. We had multiple people looked at the proposal in the RFP to see what it was about, but we got one single proposer that did propose completely. It was Safer LLC. They're a company that's out of Brazil and has been running an operation in Brazil for over 8 years and works at 4 of the largest airports and currently is working towards doing 15 more airports in the country of Brazil. We did decide that it looked like a viable proposal and had our panel that we had set up for the RFP process review it completely. And in that process, they came back with a recommendation to award to Safer because they felt it was a very viable and positive opportunity for the system at the airport. In February of 2021, this last February, we decided to hold some meetings with the industry and Safer so we could talk about their proposal and also bring forward all the information that they had provided to us and start working with the industry representatives to gain agreement on the standards and the fees. We held 2 meetings in the month of February, and following that, Safer has followed up with multiple meetings with the industries, mainly the taxi industries again, and the leaders of the taxi industry have been very involved working with Safer on coming to agreement on it. What is Safer providing? Their proposal is providing 3 types of passenger services for on-demand providers. And again, an on-demand passenger is the one that comes to the airport without a reservation. They don't have something booked already on how to get home or get to their hotel. So Safer is providing 3 different types of services for those passengers. One they call the door handle. And that's just like it's been here for the last 15 to 20 years, where people walk up to the taxi, they grab the first taxi in line, and they go out with a flag drop and using the taxi meter. The second one is an in-terminal kiosk or an app-based booking. You can do it either way. We will allow kiosks to be placed in our terminals so that a customer, when they're walking out towards the cars, can look at the options they have available for on-demand services, be able to book them, pay for them right there, and walk out with a slip of paper to the first vehicle that's in line out front, and be able to get into their vehicle and go. And then have that fully booked so they don't have to worry about it. It's all taken care of. The driver knows the final's there. It doesn't worry about the flag drop. It also allows them, I should say, to compete more effectively with the TNCs. And the TNCs, Uber and Lyft, have always been able to do that app-based booking, but this will give them an opportunity to get closer to that pricing level that TNCs have. The third option that Safer is bringing forward is an airline system bookings. And this is something they've worked successfully with in Brazil, with LATAM Airlines, which is affiliated with Delta Airlines here in the States. And they are hoping to really get things set up similarly in the fact that the airline works with, when you go to book your reservation for the airline, you'll also be able to book through Safer for your transportation from the airport. They are proposing use of the technology and their app-based platform, which will help in many ways, both for the pricing of the trips, but also help with this movement of vehicles. And again, trying to keep that number down so that the number of cars on the airport is down to that 20 minutes to 30 minutes maximum on the airport, so that they're continuing to get rides and they're continuing to get more trips, and it should increase the number of trips for those drivers. They're also very customer service oriented. They're looking for increasing the standards and making sure that the appearance of the vehicles and the drivers is improved and looking better. In fact, to the point that you may see taxi drivers with ties on as they work through this process. They always will have a vehicle available. That's one of their standards. They will never have a time when the customer can walk out to the car to the spot where the vehicle should be and not see a vehicle. They'll have one there. They set up within their technology agreement a discipline and resolution policy so that there's an ability to maintain labor peace and work with the drivers. And again, all those things have been accepted and approved by the drivers at this point. So we're moving forward. They're also proposing a lower cost structure for the drivers than what the previous Taxi San Jose proposal was. Taxi San Jose used to charge by the month, and then we would have our trip fees on top of that. And the cost recovery fee of $1.55 paid for the 300 permits that were available to the taxi drivers in the system. With the new SAFER proposal, they have a relationship with the drivers rather than us having to have that relationship with the drivers of the airport access permits. We no longer need to have those 300 airport taxi cab permits. Allows us to eliminate them, as well as the $1.55 cost to the drivers, which is an automatic reduction. SAFER is also working on a per trip basis rather than a monthly basis. So a walk-up or that door handle service will be $3.50 per trip. Whereas if they go through their technology, it'll be $1.50 per trip, but also 25% of the trip total. So that it gives them a structure that they can make the money. And the way this model works is the drivers, through their trip fees and through that percentage of trip total, pays for the SAFER operation. So there's no cost to the airport for the SAFER operation, but a provision of a much better service level than we've had before at a lower cost to the drivers on a per trip basis. The elimination of 300 taxi airport access permits does come with some changes we need to do to the ordinances, just so that we can ensure that we don't have a requirement of having those permits. We did not eliminate them from the municipal code. We just put it in as a may rather than a shall for those permits. So just in case we do get to that level where we need to have some sort of control over the number of drivers on the airport, we could do that. In reality, though, SAFER will be doing that within their issuance of their access and technology permits, because they want to have the drivers getting as many trips as possible. And they're not going to want more drivers on the airport than they need. This is an agreement for 2 years with 3 one-year options. So it allows them to get up and going now, even though it's a little slower with the pandemic. It gives them a chance to build up that business, train the drivers, train everybody to what's happening. And then as we get busier later into the summer and the fall, that gives them the opportunity to be up and running and moving. So we're asking the council to adopt a resolution to negotiate and execute agreement with SAFER, negotiate and execute lease agreements for the storage and office space that is necessary for the system, and also to improve the ordinance changes for the municipal code so that we can control those airport access permits properly and eliminate them being in service right now. So that's my presentation. And if you have any questions, we're definitely open for them.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for all your work over the many years on this issue. And I think we're finally getting toward a direction that will hopefully enable more of the airport staff to focus on what's going on the airport side of the terminals by having really with this approach. And I think it's going to be positive for the drivers, it's going to be positive for the customers, I think positive also for airport staff, so that they're not as deeply engaged as they've had to be in this issue. So I just want to thank you and John and Ashwin Naidu and all the representatives from SAFER. And I want to thank the many driver representatives who have been in communication with Scott Green in our office, particularly Sayum Masrat, Shakur Buni, Kirpal, many others who have been longstanding community leaders and representing their fellow drivers, their colleagues. And I want to thank Scott Green in particular for all the effort and time he's put into this effort, both this time and in the past as well. I've issued a memorandum with the recommendation to accept the recommendation of airport staff, and then to also establish a trip volume trigger of 200 taxi trips a day. at the airport that allow for access to a staging area, preferably to the previous taxi staging area, provided there's not a pandemic-related constraint. And the purpose of that is to address some, I think, some work environment and quality of life issues that have been longstanding for the taxi drivers, and certainly the ability to have somewhere to be able to go to the restroom, to be able to take a seat when things are slow and they need to wait, and so forth. We know it has an impact on their quality of life, and we know that this is a very demanding job in terms of the number of hours that they're out there driving. We don't want them driving unnecessarily tired and so forth. So appreciate all the work everyone's done to try to get to this point. I think we're off to a really promising proposal with what SAFER is bringing to us. We'll go to the public here. Mr. Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thank you for this item. I hope I can quickly remind that just that there was a few years ago that emission standards changed around the airport, and I felt that this would be a time to remind everyone of that, and that although they're more efficient, there are questions of what can be greener practices overall that always should be considered, not just for San Jose, but for the city of Santa Clara. And hopefully this item speaks to those issues, and good luck in how to address what can be our greener future in really creative, practical ways, and not just efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam?
I would like to urge all the council members and the mayors to support this resolution, especially we have worked very, very hard. It was in doubt till yesterday. The mayor's memo came out whether we drivers could accept this. We appreciate Mayor Liccardo for his input, especially Scott Green has been working on this thing for a long, long time. This is a very bold experiment for us. Yes, we don't know the future. We are losing about 25% of our income for this model to succeed. And this model requires a lot of cooperation, especially from the airport staff. Since John Atkin became the aviation director, the relation between drivers and airport staff is very hostile. It is my blessing today. I'm coming to airport staff with an olive branch in my hand to accept it and work cooperatively. So we don't go on strike or any hoopla came back to us. So I hope John Atkin will hear this one and accept my olive branch. And I urge the rest of the council member to accept it and see the result in the next 2 years. We hope it will succeed. And I thank all of you who have spent time on this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Person with the phone number ending 9327. Welcome. Sir or ma'am, your device appears to be muted. Your phone is muted. You need to push *6, that is *6, so that we can hear you. There you go. Oh, we lost you. All right, Tessa Woodmansee.
Thank you. I don't have a clock, just so you know. Something's wrong with the way you do this because I'm not getting the timer on my screen. Um, anyway, basically, we have an existential threat, and you guys keep greenwashing yourselves, and this saying that this is the green way to go forward with our airport. Well, the airport is really not sustainable at all. The science shows that there's no way that we can green air, massive air transit, air transportation, and we're using kerosene, and that's not going forward. We have to go to zero. And the issue of everything being around this airport, I know Mayor Liccardo has ideas about putting a transit thing underneath the ground, and we can zoom to the airport and all this, BS really, when we have an existential threat, is irresponsible to be putting our resources towards airports. And COVID has shown us that we are not, flying is dangerous and we shouldn't be doing it. And so that's how we spread COVID, is because of air travel. And now to go forward with our limited resources that we have, to be putting it into airport is very evil, immoral, and selfish and greedy to do that, to be looking at it that way, our future, when this is not a sustainable, air travel is not sustainable. And we've got to come to terms with this and realize that we have very big problems to face. And going to zero is the most important thing we need to be doing. And so that's what we need to be doing, is figuring that out and dealing with our housing crisis, our climate crisis, and our ecological collapse. And so we need to realign our focus. The airport is not sustainable. The only way the airport needs to go is like what Marty Jasinski says, like from Nebraska. It's a great place to grow food. And
Okay. Brian?
Hello, Mr. Mayor and Council. Thank you for all you're doing. You're here late again working. I wasn't in a very good mood the last couple of weeks. Apologize for that, but doing better. Got some opportunities. Hope to be in Willow Glen pretty soon. So I'll be calling my Willow Glen representative. Anyways, I think this is a great idea. I just want to make sure that the people who are using the apps or the kiosks, if they're slower like me, you can't see very well and stuff, that's taken into account, because I know it can be real dangerous slowing down around the airport with people who want to go fast. And there's, like we were talking about the sideshows, you can see a lot of that stuff going on at the airport too, as far as like people walking fast. Anyways, I was just thinking, if the app isn't where the people have a place to use it, try to log in so they're not standing in front of the door. I hope that makes some sense. Some of the logistics to make sure that people are paying attention when they walk, when they're using the app, maybe little reminders. Those are little things on the side, but if you go to the airport and watch what happens, people are looking at their phone, they walk into each other, they walk into the doors, they almost walk out in the street. This is going to be a real high volume kind of speed thing. There's still the human element, and let's face it, people can make some silly choices. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian. The person with the phone number ending 5140.
Hi. Happy Easter week, everybody. It's me again. This whole thing with the technology, it's not going to work, because I'll tell you why. The drop-off and pickup is still terrible at San Jose Airport. It really is. Whoever designed that airport did a bad job. It's always congested there. And you think that you're going to use an app on a phone, and it's all of a sudden going to transform that airport into a free-flowing area for these taxi cabs. You guys are mistaken. Like I said, if you could figure out and make drop off and pickup better, then you might want to go to the next level, because I've never had any problems with taxi cabs there or taxi cabs clogging up anything. They seem to be pretty well regulated. This seems to be some kind of technology thing for you people. And then secondly, the airport inside is terrible. It looks sad. And what's even sadder is when you're getting your baggage, you got to hear a speech from Sam Liccardo about welcoming you to San Jose. Like one of the cheesiest, tackiest things I've ever heard. Wait a minute, the first guy I ever heard do it was Willie Brown in San Francisco. But yeah, clean up your act with the drop off and pick up, and then come talk to me about this wonderful white glove technology you think you guys are gonna impose on the people to get a taxi cab. You guys are fooling yourselves. And as for the previous caller, like, we're not going to have airplanes flying into San Jose anymore. I mean, that's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard of in my whole life. How are you supposed to come and go in a polluting car, a bicycle? I don't know. The people who call in sometimes are crazy. Anyway, hey, thanks a lot, and happy Easter, everybody.
Okay, Gabriel Santos. Welcome, sir.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Santos. I'm the CEO and founder of Safer. And here beside me are Fabio De Twin and Lauro Freire, co-founders of the company. We, in the name of the whole company, would like to thank the city of San Jose for this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Safer has a long-term experience in providing intelligent solutions for ground transportation, and we are glad to put our skills at the service of this community. When the company was founded, we were intrigued with the general inefficiency of transportation service in airports, even after Uber's arrival. Low service standards, customers having to wait long time in pickup zones for their rides, drivers underpaid and undervalued, an entirely broken ecosystem. Then we worked hard to rebuild it, integrating all the pre-existing players in the field in a comprehensive new business model where no one is excluded. Our initiative soon proved to be a breakthrough, and after a few years of diligent work, we were able to expand our activities abroad, first in Latin America and now in the US. We hope our partnership with San Jose Airport and our project of integrated land and air travel in an ultimate door-to-door experience become not only a role model, but a stepping stone to the transformation of the whole modern transportation system. Thank you very much for your time, the airport administration, and the industry. Once again, thank you.
Thank you. Anhita? Yeah, your device appears to be muted right now. If you could unmute your device, we'll be able to hear you. There you go.
All right. Yeah, I support, and also I am pleasing all the council's members to pass the motions for the memos, recommendations presented by the mayor on the agreement between Safer Service and the airport agreement regarding our service. And really, we're waiting for this kind of changes for a long time. So finally, I hope we will going to get some results than the older one. Really, we've been suffering for a long time in airport. And also, I thank you, especially Mr. Mayor San Ricardo and Mr. Scott of their staff for doing all this one available. And our sound is here in front of all communities. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. And thank you again to Mr. Santos and the team at Safer for your willingness to invest in our city. And thank you to all the drivers who serve our residents and our visitors. Councilmember Perales.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And appreciate the work too that's been put into this, and guess also some thanks to Scott on your team for trying to find a compromise here at the end. I just had a question for staff. If we move the mayor's memo in regards to the previous staging area, just wanted to get, John, your feedback on that.
Council member, I think the memo is an appropriate start at working through the staging area challenges. Currently on the staging area, we're doing our COVID testing, which is many hundreds of people a day getting COVID tests for Hawaii. And hopefully as the taxi industry picks up, the Hawaii COVID situation calms down a little bit, and it would be a nice, smooth transition. But I think the way the mayor and his staff have worded it, it gives us a great opportunity to set a trigger and begin talking with Safer at that point as to what's the best mix for the industry.
Okay, I appreciate that. Then I'll move the mayor's memo.
Second.
And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Morales and my colleagues. Thank you, John. There was a person in the public that just raised their hand and put it down. Yes, the person with the phone number 9327. You need to push *6 in order to unmute your phone, though, or else we won't be able to hear you. Okay, I think there's a problem with the phone. Is that right, Henry? Yeah. All right, I'm sorry if that person's been trying to get through or we're not able to hear. Okay, let's vote then on the motion from Councilmember Morales.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Morales,
Aye.
Cohen,
Aye.
Carrasco,
Aye.
Davis, Aye. Esparza,
Yes.
Arenas,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Mahan,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye. All right, we're nearing the finish line. 8.2 is acceptance of the annual progress report on implementation of the general plan housing element. We have a presentation. Jackie?